What you can take on a cruise has changed, and if you're not moving with the times, you might get caught out, just like I did on my most recent cruise. Because in 2026, even the most experienced cruisers are needing to double check what they're packing so they don't face holdups or having items confiscated. Some of the most common things that people would pack only 12 months ago will now have you wishing you never put them in your suitcase or carry on because they'll cause you to be delayed at boarding or worse, denied boarding altogether. So in this video, I'm going through 5 things that many people used to take on cruises, but now could get confiscated, get you questions, or cause you problems even before you step foot on the ship. If you're new here, my name's Dean and I make travel videos and reviews to help you travel better, both close to home and far away. I think it's important to be clear up front. This video is a general video of what has changed. There will be some variation between cruise lines and some will be more relaxed than others. But what I've seen recently is when one cruise line makes a move, it usually isn't long until the others adopt similar practices. So let's get into it. Bluetooth speakers have always been a controversial item for cruises since their explosion in popularity. They can be really useful for some travelers that want to listen to things at a respectable level in their cabin while getting ready, or to listen to a podcast or audiobook. But as we have all experienced time and time again, this isn't the reality. This is not how they're being used, and cruise lines are finally stepping in to stop them coming on board entirely. Look, I'm in the camp here of people that is relatively happy about this. I can't think of anything worse for my cruise holiday than being stuck next to someone that has packed a Bluetooth speaker and has loud music playing while I'm trying to relax on my balcony or while I'm trying to relax by the pool. I do understand that this is likely to divide people though, and it's not to say that I haven't travelled with one in the past, but I would always avoid them on cruises. Carnival Australia now actually says that all speakers, including Bluetooth, portable and wireless speakers, are prohibited and that they will be held and returned at the end of the cruise. Their reasoning is that guests and crew need to be able to hear public announcements and that people should use earphones when listening to music or watching content in public spaces. Some people, when they are traveling, will just throw a small Bluetooth speaker into their luggage. So for those people, this is going to be a bit of a change. I guess what this change shows is there's an even greater shift to passenger comfort and how other passengers are likely to interact as a priority for cruise companies. Cruise ships are crowded spaces and getting more crowded with the larger ships. So cruise lines are trying to remove as much friction as possible between passengers. The second thing that has become an absolute minefield in cruising is anything that turns one PowerPoint into multiple PowerPoints. Only 12 to 18 months ago, everyone on YouTube would recommend you to buy a non-surge protected powerboard or power strip for a cruise. The non-surge protected versions were universally accepted, and it was almost seen as a necessity on older ships due to their lack of power outlets and USB ports, but not anymore. And it's getting really complicated as well. So my advice is just don't pack these items. Royal Caribbean were actually one of the first to make a movement on this, and they now say that guests cannot bring electrical extension cords, including power boards or surge protected power boards on board. So other cruise lines have now started to follow suit, but maybe the most frustrating thing is that they're following this direction and they're not updating their list of prohibited items on their website, or they keep it intentionally vague. I was recently caught out while cruising the MSC World America when my non-surge protected double plug and USB powerboard was confiscated. At the time of cruising, this wasn't listed as a prohibited item with MSC, but I still wasn't allowed to bring it on board. It probably should be noted that only 18 months prior, I had taken the same adapter on another MSC cruise and there was no issue at all. It just goes to show how quickly the rules are changing. What I would take instead is a simple converter cube. These are widely allowed on all cruise lines, at least for now. The benefit to these is that they're usually multi-country and they provide one plug socket and multiple USB ports. These are a handy travel item anyway and take up very little space. Hopefully these remain whitelisted for all cruise lines. Now here's the one I use and I never really travel without it. I've linked it in the description, so if you're interested, you can check it out. It's pretty affordable too. If you're researching your next cruise or just checking out this video now and finding it useful, now is the time to subscribe to my channel. Number one, it really does help me out. And number two, I make travel videos, cruise videos, and honest reviews to help you avoid little mistakes that can make your trip more stressful than it needs to be. Okay, let's get back to item number three. The third item is one that maybe wasn't on a lot of people's radar to begin with, but for tech nerds like me, travel vloggers, or content creators, it's really going to sting. And that is smart glasses or meta glasses. MSC, Carnival, and Royal Caribbean have all put hard bans on using these glasses in public areas. This is due to the repeated privacy concerns of passengers and crew on board the ship. This one does make sense to me, although these glasses do indicate when they are recording. It can be easy to miss, and no one, especially crew, should be recorded when they're unaware. I would also argue that using these glasses on cruises anytime children are around is not acceptable and opens up a whole other conversation around child protection. Despite the real concerns and legitimate reason for the ban, this is a real blow for owners of this tech, as one of the biggest reasons people get these glasses is to document their travels. These glasses aren't cheap, so if you purchased a pair specifically for your next travel adventure or specifically for a cruise, this one's really going to hurt. The fourth item is portable fans, and this one surprised me a little bit because a small fan feels like such a normal thing to pack for a lot of cruises. The air conditioning in your cruise cabin can be so hit and miss depending on the ship or even the cabin you have. Without solid air conditioning, cabins can start to feel quite stuffy very quickly. Now, I've added this to the list because although personal fans are not universally banned across all cruise lines yet, there are signs that this may be happening soon. Norwegian have recently put a ban on all battery operated and plug operated fans and are heavily policing this. They state that they will confiscate these if you attempt to bring them on board. Disney Cruises have recently announced that personal fans will require additional inspection before they are allowed on board. So there is definitely a chance with Disney that these could be confiscated as well. As we've seen with the other items on this list, when one or two cruise lines move on something, the others will usually quickly follow. And the use of fans is one to watch. And I suspect by late 2026 or 2027, these will be restricted items. This is one of those things that probably won't affect most people, but for the people it does affect, it could really change how comfortable the cruise feels. And the fifth item is white noise machines and sleep machines. This one is really interesting because it shows how specific cruise rules are becoming. A lot of people use white noise to sleep, especially light sleepers or people who are used to having a fan on at home, which we know is a fraught area for cruises now. White noise can be especially helpful on a cruise because cruise cabins can have really weird noises. Often you may hear people in the hallway or even just your neighbors next door, and a white noise device can be really useful to block all of that out. For some cruise lines, white noise machines are getting swept up in the Bluetooth speaker ban, and for other lines, they are specifically noted as banned as they may distract from announcements. One of the things I've often discussed is that I think cruise cabins should actually have white noise machines built into them. So when there's a crew announcement, they can actually dim the white noise so you can still hear the announcement, but you can adjust the white noise so you can block out all other noise around you. I think this would, in general, make cruising a lot more comfortable for a lot more people. If you are somebody that absolutely needs white noise to get to sleep, I wouldn't be trying to bring a dedicated white noise machine or a Bluetooth speaker on board for this. I would be making sure that I'm prepared for the cruise though. If you have a fairly modern smartphone, your phone speaker might be able to get the job done for you. Just make sure you have some white noise tracks downloaded onto your phone if you don't want to use data. Your phone may have a white noise function built in, and it may not need any internet connection like the iPhone. Also, if you don't mind an additional purchase, you can buy dedicated white noise earbuds that are designed for sleeping. These can be really handy not only for cruise ships, but also while flying. Currently, Oslo are the market leaders for this style of earbud, and I've left a link in the description for these. So I think the bigger point with all 5 of these items is that cruise packing is not as simple as it used to be. So before your next cruise, do not just rely on old packing videos or an old blog post or a Facebook comment from someone who cruised 3 or 4 years ago. check your cruise line's prohibited item list and try and find up-to-date videos if that's your go-to. Also, check the rules for the country that you are sailing from. Trust me, I'm giving all of these tips because I know how frustrating it is to lose an item at embarkation that you thought was okay and that you'd plan to use for the time on board your cruise. But look, if you follow these tips, you're on the right path. Okay, that's all for today. But if you've cruised recently and had something confiscated at embarkation, how about you let me know in the comments, because this list is ever updating, and the more people we get responding to these sort of things, the more aware we all are. Also, for any of the items that I've listed in the comments, if you click through and buy something, I get a tiny commission. This helps the channel out and allows me to keep investing in this channel and in this community. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.